If you live in a high-density area, getting around is surprisingly easy. They're full of movement. Cars, people, bikes, buses, taxis, and even whatever this thing is. But the farther away we go from an urban center, the more our options start to dwindle, and movement can be, well,
moo cow,
difficult.
The transportation breakdown for rural Nova Scotia shows that when it comes to moving about, the automobile is the primary mode of transportation. I'm from a rural community, and even though we lived pretty close to town, it was still a bit of a trip to the nearest grocery store. So it's not hard to guess which option we used. It was the car, obviously the car. We literally drove everywhere.
Having to drive everywhere may not seem like a challenge, but not everyone has the option to drive. Some members of our aging population can no longer safely drive, and for community members with certain neural or physical impairments, driving just isn't an option. And some people choose not to drive for a variety of reasons, ranging from environmental to financial concerns.
No matter the reason, everybody deserves the ability to move about their life and connect with their community. And that's where the province's community transit program comes into effect.
Rural transit is really a construct of the province of Nova Scotia. They created a model where community groups could come together as a group of dedicated volunteers and create a transit system that would operate outside of any municipal transit service. And it was really focused on marginalized communities, seniors, and those of low income were really identified as the first targets, and most services, of course, develop and grow from there.
Overall, there are currently 18 rural transit operators in Nova Scotia providing a range of services. Community transportation organizations have flexibility in designing their route types, schedules, and fleets. They can use cars, vans, and compact buses to meet the needs of their service area. Every community is different, and this flexibility allows them to create a service that meets their community's needs.
With that additional flexibility comes a high price tag. Fuel, maintenance, and operators add up, and if a provider offers a door-to-door or dispatch service, costs drastically increase. How they decide to manage their price and costs vary depending on the provider and the service they offer. For an example, we asked Bayride to take us through their revenue stream.
About 27% of the funding comes from the provincial government and their CTAP funding program. About the same amount, 27 or so percent, comes from the fare box revenue that our passengers pay to take our service, and then 16% or so comes from the municipal government, and it's difficult in that environment to be revenue neutral, but we strive to do it every day.
If you're interested in using this service, cost per ride varies depending on the provider, the service offered, and the distance. But no matter what their revenue model, each community transportation provider does their best to make sure they provide their community an important service for a reasonable price. It's a program that's helping our communities become more connected, more active, and more sustainable.
As a senior, it just enables me to sort of face the senior years with confidence, to know that if I don't feel like driving, I can just come in once a week and pick up groceries. And so I've been enjoying it tremendously. The truth, in the small community that I live in, like, this is the only social service we've got. We haven't even got a community centre, so I just much appreciate it.
If you want to learn more about a service in your community or learn how you can help support your local organization, see the links below. If your community is interested in the program, check out the Nova Scotia provincial website to learn how a community transportation organization could make moving around your community that much easier.
If you don't have the ability to go to businesses and appointments in the community you live in, then you're having to go somewhere else to do it. We give people that ability by providing transit internally to those who wouldn't have it in any other way. So use the service, right? The service is there. As much as we are growing and continue to grow, that's something we have to deal with, but we don't want anybody to not use the service because the demand is high. That is how we'll continue to be successful.